I'm Sonia Braga, and I am at Angelika Film Center. Aquarius, I believe it's a universal story, unfortunately, because it's a movie about destruction in a way, or people fighting for their rights when they know they have it, but they have to fight for it. When I got this screenplay, and when I read this woman talking and defending herself, I found my own words, my own soul, and my own rights through her. Her name is Clara, and she'll fight for her life.
So you've been in the business for 50 years, and that is incredible for a woman as an actress.
Yes.
And a minority woman, and you always seem to choose these characters that can touch on so many different,
yes.
Aspects. People bring up their sexuality, and because you're so comfortable in that and expressing that, but also strong characters and very intelligent. What do you attribute that to? Where does that come from?
To tell you the truth, I'm not sure. I'm not an academic actress. I never went to school to learn how to act. Maybe that helps. I don't do theater, and this is not a critique to actors that they do theater. Or I never been to acting school. So the actors that went to that choice of career, I didn't choose it. The career chose me. So maybe that's when I'm a little bit different when I act. When I was 9 years old, that's when I think that started. I lost my father I was 8, and my mother caught herself like with the 7 kids, and she has to bring the food and everything. And I remember very well bring my first records from the school, and she said, "I'm so sorry, I cannot do anything. So from now on, it's up to you." And it was the best thing I think she did. I mean, in my case, I reviewed the whole thing about children, and I really care about the children have the right to go to school, yes, and to have academic information that I never had. I could be, God knows, archaeologist or astronaut, but there are many ways to get to the stars.
Yes, yeah. So you've managed to become an astronaut in your own way.
Yeah, in my own way. Or archaeologist. Archaeologist, that's the work of an actor, actually. To me, I have to develop ways to act, because I didn't have the tools. So I'm like a primitive one that say, oh my God, I have to do this, but I don't have tools. What about to make this one? So, and one day I was talking about being an actor, not being academic, and I say it's because I'm like an archaeologist, because that's the work we do. We dig, and then we show the director and say, is this good? They say, not good, dig some more. Until we dig so much that you find, some treasures. And so maybe and probably that's when some characters that I played touch so many people, because they come really from my own life, from my own truth, and there is no tones of voice or anything academic on it. It's totally raw. What I feel, I give them right away.
So you're more intuitive, you're more...
I'm totally intuitive.
Yeah.
Thanks for the words. One instead of 5,000.
Well, there you go. So you're more of an intuitive actress. You're with the feeling. And
Can I say that?
Yes.
I'm more like an intuitive actress.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I think that, you know, that's probably the thing that most connects your audience.
But
to
also
your work.
is the responsibility of getting characters that makes the connection. You know, it's like we are the dough that makes them, you know, that molds them, that gives them to the audience.
Right.
And it's behind that a lot of responsibility in the speech we are giving to the audience. I'm not saying they have to like it or not, you know. The most important thing to me is I am truth. I'm given the truth.
Right. So this role of Clara in Aquarius, which was, I thought it was amazing. I was inspired by her relentlessness. I wanted to know if this is sort of kind of like a role of a lifetime, in a sense that her journey and where she is to, you know, who she is as a character, and kind of your career and them kind of intersecting. Do you feel that this is like a very special role for you?
It is a very special role for me or for any other actress that can get a role like this. And I'm not talking even about age, but it's just not that. You get to understand that Kleber, you know, wrote it and directed, and the crew that made this movie. This is all very, very, very different. We're talking here about something very different. Some of the critics, he said, I got the role in the silver plate.
On the silver platter.
A platter. So, and I would say like the image is very, it's a little bit too much for me, but I got it, what he wants to say. But I think it was heart to heart, really, and I totally understand what Kleber wants to say, and he gave me back my words. And I've been saying something like, it is true to me that it was like eating, but not having the taste of it. And suddenly, I start like tasting it, you know, and feeling the words, they have the sound better. It was better sound, they made more sense, they had more meaning to it. The truth is, it was my speech, exactly what I want to say, but it was more organized in a way that people will get together without having to edit.
I see. So you feel like this character, Clara, is, with respect to things that are happening in Brazil, you feel like this is a character that is actually kind of like the voice of...
I think she represents not just women, but men in Brazil right now. She, even to me, represents like more like a metaphor, and she is the heart of the main character in this movie that's in an apartment. So apartment, the home, is a very special place for everyone. For the primitive man is the cave, is protection, is your place, is where you gather your memories, your feelings, where you go back and forth and can review things. So when people want to drag you away from your place just because they want to build something in there, in your place, and you just say no to that, that's a big metaphor to me. It's like, I have the right to be here. This is my home. This is where I live. And the only way to take me away from this place, but but this place is this place of my right, is to kill me. You gotta kill me.
Yeah. So in the film, Clara, she had, you know, adversity, you know, not only with the builders, but her family and friends. She had a lot of people around her, her loved ones, that were giving her advice, but she seemed to be so determined and focused. There was nothing that could detour her from what was that drove her?
What is beautiful about Clara, I think, is her love, you know, for her family and for her building, for the ocean and the respect she has, and for the people. She just met the guy at the beach, you know, it's her friend, and her family, her close family, brothers and sister-in-law, and her friends. They go and dance and sing and everything. So nothing takes away, you know, from her life, the love for life. What is spectacular, what I think about Clara is her love for her fight. Yes. She doesn't fight tense. And the Kleber is a master on this, because it's become like being a thriller. At the certain moment of the movie is a thriller, but she goes understanding where is the fight. Because sometimes when you are under pressure and you're just understand something in the movie right now, but you know, some people are really under pressure about to be killed, and then a friend or somebody comes and talk to you and you say, what do you want? So Clara never does that. Right. You know, she is in the absence of her losing her mind, but then her grandson comes to her and the whole world can't wait for the fight. You know, she grabs him and she exchanges love and she takes care of him, and next she gets to fight. Right. You know,
it's like another boost of energy in a way.
Yes, it's very hard to temper this in life, you know, because we're all under pressure. Mm-hmm. It comes from here, it comes from there, it comes from money, it comes from everywhere. So it's hard to have this moment of love to life, and even the love for your own fight. You have so much certainty of what you're doing that you don't have to scream. You just say in a low voice something that I cannot tell you right now what I would say in a low voice.
Yeah, yeah. And Clara was very meticulous almost and calculated about the things that she chose to confront and when she chose to confront them. Yes. And what I got from that was kind of like her balance of certain characters in the film that were not necessarily people, music, and the ocean as other characters that were kind of like the sanctuary.
Yes. Because that's what the movie is amazing about, you know, that I'm like, I never done a movie that I'm 99.9% in the movie, except for the beginning, where I am, but I'm not person. But you know, that's the beauty of this movie, the way it's constructed, that Clara is here and everything goes around. There's so many characters in the movie, and they are not necessarily like people. You know, they are a car, it's a shark, it's the
building, the music,
the ocean,
your hair.
My hair is a very important thing in the movie.
And I wanted to ask you about that.
Yes.
So I noticed that sometimes in different transitions in the film, the hair would go up, and then sometimes it would come down.
And I make the hair all the time.
Was that very intentional for what was happening in the film, or do you think it kept
There is one moment for Kleber that it was imperative that I had my hair down. Imperative. So we work through that to be exactly the way he wanted to be, because it was a narrative, belonged to that narrative that comes from me in the past to me in the present, which is now the past, because it passed a year. So it's not fair, because Clara is still 65 and I'm 66.
Not fair.
Not fair. But it is true, the hair is important. Everything is important. The water she drinks.
The wine.
The wine she drinks. The friends she has. The joints. The relationship, which always changes. You know, she's always the same person. She has the same face, she has the same do, but she changes as the person is talking to her. You know, that's what is the beauty, because that's what gets her so real, because that's the way we are. You know, our energy changes, you know, and she tried to be gentle towards the enemy.
Yes.
You know, she's gentle, she respects his position.
Right.
But go to do your position in another place, please. You know, may I close the door right now? I need to go. But you see the relationship with the family, which is very, very special to me, you know, when she relates to the family, you know, with the daughter, especially with the daughter. They have a relationship very difficult. But when she's with the kids, you know, she's even more a child than any of them. There is a line that Kleber put is in there, why you're like an old lady and a child. And she says, because I am an old lady and the child, you know. And it is true, there's many, many characters that, there's this veil that protects the buildings. Yes. Right? And this is a very important character too. Yes. Everything, you know, becomes important. The door, the key, the person that she thought
even
from the past.
Of the building.
The painting of the building. And everything is important. There's nothing in there because, what are we gonna do in here, you know? Yeah. But that's clever.
And even when you were with your nephew and his girlfriend and you guys were taking that walk.
Oh, that walk. That walk is so important, because that was in Recife. There is a sewer that really divides the two neighborhoods. I've been to when they showed the film in Cannes, and then in São Paulo, in Rio, but in Recife, the movie, the reaction, I wish that somebody could show that, because it's some stuff, it's specific to Recife. And there, in Recife, they made some buildings that really spoiled the view. Oh. Yeah, they really did. But in the movie, Kleber took them out. Oh. So in Recife, when people saw that with all the buildings, they were like almost crying, applauding, yes. You know. And
because they like to see the city that way.
That's the way the city should be, really. So, and what divided the poor people and the rich people, right. You know, is the sewer. So, and all that things in Recife, the city where it was shot, people react in a way, it was amazing. And the things that very familiar to them in the language as well, you know, when they say funny things, you know.
Yeah. In this film, you know, she looks back to her past often. She has different things that she hangs. It's almost like she's fighting for her past, present, and future, all at the same time. Do you feel that today people kind of dispose of the past quickly?
Countries do that. You know, many countries are in denial, you know, and the United States, for instance, because we're here right now, when we see all the riots, and you know, it's because probably we're not talking about enough.
About the history and the past.
The history, the past, recognizing that, trying to fix and trying to recognize, you know, history. History is something very important. So people do that as well. People, they try not to remember even what happened in their lives, and they keep making the same mistakes. I think Clara, she made peace with her life, with her past, and also there's a character that Tia Lucia, that it is her in the future, and she can look at Tia Lucia in the beginning of the movie when she's young, when Clara, I'm saying she, but it's me in a case, she's about what, maybe 20 something there, and she sees an older lady and she sees in her what she is going to be.
Right.
And there is also very important...
The cabinets, when
yes.
they shoot to the cabinets,
yes.
and then she's reminded of Tia
yes.
Lucia?
That's the monolith, you know, like it's a Kubrick thing in the movie, you know, because that is the piece, that it's the capsule that turns things to the past and the future.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was very interesting that that she was almost in so many times, you know, spaces, and at the same time, I just admired that she was so willing to stand up for herself. And now that you said that she kind of made peace with the past, so that makes sense about how she approached things. And I wondered if Clara or you, since you guys are one and the same person, how does one know when to fight for something, or how does one know when it's time to let go or when to move past something?
Well, it all depends. I think if you recognize that you have some rights, and I'm totally with the people that fight for them, and to transform their lives, the lives of their neighbors. If it is a right that's you conquered something, you cannot let it go. You have to make life better, not worse. That's the way I think about, you know, everything, in a way. And if you don't have the rights yet, how come? We're in a century that looks like more the beginning of the first, not 20 more, you know.
It seems like people are more prone to just follow rather than to ask questions, or...
You know, it's a very difficult conversation because some people that want to fight and they recognize the rights, they don't have time. What time they're going to get organized with the unions or with themselves, with the neighbors, if they have to work so hard to put the food on the table. Life became so expensive in a way that people, they only work. Although they know they have the rights, they don't have the time to do it. So people fight for them, but it's hard to say that, but the people from the upper class are fighting for the poor people. And it's not always that fits, because the people with the power is fighting for people with no power.
Right, they don't necessarily understand that struggle firsthand.
They do try to understand that struggle. They try their best. But again, from the academic world, it's hard to understand what it is life, the real life. So we see a lot of things that we don't like much, but you know, unfortunately, I think people have, a lot of people, they are trying to do the best, although it's not always that we can get what we want. But individually, I think people cannot just let it go, the rights.
Yeah.
They have to fight for it.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very tiring. It's very saddening. You know, when you see a young man crying in the streets because he is, you know, persecuted every time he get out of him or her house,
Right.
you know. So I think the youth now, they understand more about their rights because there's so much communication right now. So there's less control of the news and what's happening. And a lot of what the riots and everything that's been happening, it's because more people, they can communicate to one to another, so they can get organized, and especially the youth. But it's not always that you have time for that,
Right.
unfortunately.
Right.
I feel like so terrible that I always, when I talk about this movie, and especially today, I have to tell you this today, and I want you guys to know, I just came back from Brazil today. So my English, I was speaking my mother tongue, which is fantastic, which is Portuguese. So when I spend so much time in Brazil and very, very connect with my people, with my tongue, with my country, in so many important issues that we are crossing right now. I'm giving this interview, and this is the first time that I'm speaking in English after that. And I would like to express more and deeper. But I want you to know something. This all comes from my heart. So get your heart out and connect to me, because I'm sure you are going to understand.
Yeah, it's definitely a film, universal film. You did an excellent job. Kleber, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.